the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Parlay Play. Parlay Play is a lead pipe lock-in for parlay and player props. Wow. Go to parlayplay.io. Use the promo code SGP for a 100% deposit bonus today. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of August. And we are here with a little card, a little truncated 8-game card for Thursday, August the 10th. Joining me from somewhere in New Jersey is Mr. Dylan Rockford. Hello, Dill. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Good to be with you, Malcolm. You didn't get the hint. I saw the Premier League and everyone was dressed up. So I came, I changed, got a polo, and then I come on and you're just in a t-shirt. So,
well, I mean, to be honest, put the polo on isn't.
That's dressed up for me.
Oh, is it? Is that the height of your sartorial elegance, Dylan? Well, the Premier League show we just recorded was our 100th episode, Dylan, so we had to look very smart, you see. I put my my tuxedo and my cowboy hat on. Barry had an egg in a cup. So it was all very celebratory. But I've got work tomorrow and I need that white shirt clean. So the IT department then made me take it off because she didn't want to wash it again between now and me going to work tomorrow. So it's now back hanging in the wardrobe, mate. I tell you what, though, I feel like it's like the end of term for me, like the end of semester. I feel like the last Friday before a big holiday because me and Baz have just done a million preview shows. We've done like 3 shows every night. And now this, Dylan, is my last little show until Sunday. Like I say, I'm working tomorrow, working Friday, but I'm going to the match on Saturday in Newcastle Villa. I'm going to have beers with the boys. So I'm really excited. And yeah, this is just a nice little card as well. Not a big 3-man 15-game episode. So yeah, let's talk about Mark Calvaruso first in the chat. And Mark has made a very good point that the Reds bullpen is dog shit. That was the only baseball game today. The Marlins beat the Reds 5-4. Yeah, Mark, I had Graham Ashcraft for the win.
Yes.
And Graham Ashcraft was absolutely cruising. 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run. Cincinnati led 4-1. Then the bullpen take over and the Reds blew it again. Marlins, I believe, have won the most one-run games in MLB this season. And they've egged out another one tonight. The Brewers have just walked off the Rockies as well in the bottom of the 10th as we speak. And in the Rangers Athletics game, Dylan, what bet hit tonight in that?
Right now, Oakland first 5.
Get in the queue. The queue. It's a system play every time. Oakland first 5. There you go.
Yeah, 0-2 for the day for me. I took the under 9.5 for Milwaukee, Colorado. Stood no chance, and then I had Rays money line, and it was looking good in the 8th till the bullpen came in.
Yep. I've got some things to discuss with you, Dylan. Firstly, did you see Julio Rodriguez stealing that homer and then kind of hiding the ball in his glove yesterday?
No, I didn't. It was it was good.
Oh, it's funny. I'm not sure if it's frowned upon or not. So Tatis, beautiful swing, straight away center. And Rodriguez goes up at the ball, and it looks like it's gone. And Rodriguez comes down and stands. And Tatis sets off into the home run trot. And then as he gets halfway down to second base, Julio just opens his glove and the ball's in there. And everyone goes, woo! And it was that exciting. But Fernando Tatis didn't look very impressed. Well, I quite enjoyed that. How were you
I'm watching it right now. He's walking and then he says, I got it in my glove. I just saw it. That's great. I did see from the game yesterday, Logan Gilbert struck out Juan Soto 3 times, for only right-handed pitcher ever to strike out Juan Soto 3 times in one game.
The Mariners are rolling at the moment. They're having a lot of fun. They're a good team to watch.
Getting hot at the right time.
The second thing I wanted to mention was quite not serious. It's not serious. And I think you might have commented on this a couple of days ago, and I didn't really know what was going on, but I got into it today. Was the Kevin Brown and the Orioles thing, Dylan?
Oh man.
Fucking hell! What is all that about? If anyone who hasn't seen it, Kevin Brown is the announcer for the Orioles, and before the game the other day at Tampa, they put a graphic up, and he explained how Baltimore had historically struggled to win at the Trop, but now they were playing really well and doing a good job and a fun young team, etc. And the Orioles have kind of sacked him by saying he shouldn't have been pointed out how terrible they used to be. But what an absolutely tone-deaf decision from a mad owner, I thought.
Oh, he's the worst. He's like the Dan Snyder of baseball, the Angelos is in Baltimore. When I went to school in Baltimore, everyone hated the ownership, and that's why they kind of thought they were struggling for so many years. But yeah, it's crazy. For as a successful season as they're having, they had to screw it up doing this. It was ridiculous. He was basically saying facts. He literally said nothing wrong, and then thank God there was so much outcry and outrage with the video that the Orioles forced him and put him back into the booth on Friday. So he's back.
Did that happen? Did it? I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, so he'll be back tomorrow, or 2 days, excuse me, and Friday. So he'll be back, thankfully. He should have never got suspended. Ridiculous. And I think the Baltimore Orioles are setting a bad precedent moving forward because he was literally doing his job. He said nothing wrong. I was watching the whole video waiting for him to say something wrong. I had to watch the video a few times because I was like, I don't get it. What did he do wrong?
Yeah, I was counting down. I was thinking, oh, he's going to say something mad racist in a minute. Yeah. And then he just didn't. He said nothing. It was ridiculous. Randy, backwards corduroy. Yes, Randy.
Oh, I like it.
We should haven't got, what's that word? Horizontal. We still haven't got the horizontal corduroy pants company set up yet. But yeah, I'm going with the backwards cap. The third thing I wanted to point out, we're filling some time up tonight. We've only got 8 games. Is just how shambolic the Chicago White Sox are, and a lot of the players who traded away last week have pointed out how shambolic the Chicago White Sox are. Chief of which was Keenan Middleton, the bullpen guy who went to New York Yankees, just saying that if you don't have to turn up for practice, there's no consequences. You don't have to turn up for team meetings. There's no consequences. He says there's people just go to sleep in the bullpen. Wow. So you can just do what you want. He said the culture is absolutely awful. We've seen Tim Anderson have troubles on and off the field. And then Lance Lynn kind of doubled down on those remarks. Lance Lynn went to, where's Lance Lynn gone?
The Dodgers.
Dodgers, yeah. Pretty much said the same thing independently as well. So I don't know if this is just a hangover from Tony La Russa and whatever was going on there. But you can see in how they play. We've said before that they're one of the teams who the fundamentals is just awful. And you really hear things like that. You need that clubhouse culture. Just hasn't worked at all for the White Sox. And finally, before we start making some picks, I need to point out that me and Lonte hit the massive parlay last night. My dog was Kansas City at plus 180. Plus 166. Lonte put up Colorado at plus 180. Scott started laughing at us, so we said we would parlay them and buy him a shirt if we won. And sure enough, Kansas City and Colorado both won. 6-1 the parlay was. So I think Scott Reichel's waiting for a new shirt in the post from me and Lonte.
I'm waiting too, because I talked to Barry of the Premier League. He's getting me a Forest jersey. It won't be here for opening week, but big game this Saturday against Arsenal. But I mean, come on. We just signed my boy from Park Ridge, goalie Matt Turner. And now I want to toot my own horn because I'm not a football aficionado, but I got people from Art Forest following me on Twitter now, asking me if I know about the club instead, calling me mate. I love it.
Dylan, I've never known anyone in such a short space of time. About 3 weeks ago, you didn't give a shit. And now you're messaging me today saying, I love Forest. I liked them better when Roy Keane was playing. Like Roy Keane was captain of Forest in 1991. And you're spitting all these historical facts at me. Dylan, I'm very much impressed. You can come on the Premier League Gambling Podcast anytime you like. Right, 8 games here. I've got 8 winners, so it was worth waiting for if you're still hung around through all of that rubbish. I'll tell you about the Patreon first, though. Access to exclusive contests, including the NFL win totals contest, which has got a $1,000 first place prize. There's weekly contests as well in there. The Discord channel just for patrons is always lively. So you can help us rail against corporate gambling by signing up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon, at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Okay, TVDBJ is in. Good evening, Trev. How are you? 12:35. Lots of days fall tomorrow. I'm at work. Bummer. Houston Astros at the Baltimore Orioles. Hunter Brown for Houston. And Dean Kramer goes for Baltimore. This is a tight one on the books. We've got quite a few. I think we've got 4 favourites tonight, north of $2. One of them's $3.50 favourite. This one's the tightest one, I think. -115 for Houston, +100 for Baltimore. Total is set at 9.5. Dylan, you can lead us off.
Yeah, I'm going to take the short number here with the Astros on the road. I made them a -125 favorite with Hunter Brown on the mound. You know, both teams are playing really good baseball, both 7-3 in their last 10. But the way the Astros, I was watching the game, the way they were able to fight back and win the game yesterday really showed me how gritty this team is and how they're going to fight towards the end of the season. And with Dean Kramer, yeah, the Orioles have won his last 6 starts, but his hard hit rate is much higher at home than on the road. And I do think this might be a bad spot for him. While Hunter Brown, he's been much better on the road than at home. In a game where I essentially think this is a coin flip game, I'm going to back the better pitcher, who I think is Hunter Brown. So I think he could limit the Orioles' bats, and I think they continue to win. They won the first game of the series, and I like them again here tomorrow, so I'll take the short price -115 with the Astros here.
You pretty much nailed my handicap there, Dylan. Hunter Brown is reliable, really. 2 earned runs given up in his last 3 starts. Dean Kramer has a similar profile to Hunter Brown. This was a really tough game to call, but it's those home numbers for Kramer that you mentioned. That was sometimes you've got to find a tiebreaker to split a team, and that was it. Could be a bit of a shootout, I think. Both teams bats capable of putting up a few runs. But yeah, I'll lean. I think the books have got it absolutely spot on. But I'll take the -115 as well. Give me Houston on the money line. The second 12:35 Eastern first pitch of the day is the Atlanta Braves at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bryce Elder is on the hill for Atlanta, and Bailey Falter, left-handed pitcher, draws the start for Pittsburgh. This is the first the first $2 favorite, -205 for the Braves, +185 for the Pirates, and a total of 9.5. Bryce Elder, 8-3 on the year, 3.43 ERA. And I kind of spent all May sitting here telling you that Elder was going to blow up, and he kept pitching really well. And then when I eventually shut up about it, he's demonstrated that he was overachieving. And I think his metrics all the while were just sort of red flags. So 4 of his last 5 have been really poor. He's given up 5 earned runs 3 times. And some really short starts as well. Atlanta do keep having to pull him. He's gone 4 1/3, 3 1/3, and then 2 2/3 in that span as well. Bailey Falter is struggling with Philly. He was struggling with Philly before he was traded to Pittsburgh. He's had one start for Pittsburgh. It actually went okay. 4 innings pitched, 6 hits with 1 earned run against the Brewers. However, the Braves are a different proposition. I can't take Elder at -205. Absolutely not. Both pitchers are vulnerable. So the total looks the way to go. I'll take over 9.5 to them.
Yeah, hard to get value in this game. I mean, unless you take the Braves on the run line, and even then you're paying some chalk. But I couldn't agree more. At -110, I took the over 9.5. I made my total 9.9. I think we can see a shootout in this game with Bryce Elder and Bailey Falter on the mound. It's more honestly, it's more of a fade on Bailey Falter. If I'm being honest, I just don't think he's good. Even when he was on the Phillies before getting traded to Pittsburgh, he gives up a lot of hard contact and runs. Now going up against one of the best lineups in baseball, I just don't think this is a good spot for him. Braves could go over this number themselves. They're averaging 9.4 runs per game in the past week. So I think we could see a shootout here. I think Pirates could get a few off of Elder as well. So seeing like a 9-5, 9-6 type of game, I'm going to go way over here.
1:10 Eastern first pitch, the Toronto Blue Jays at the Cleveland Guardians. Alek Manoah for Toronto, and Noah Syndergaard is the starter for Cleveland. -120 the Blue Jays, +110 the Guardians. Total is set at 9. Alek Manoah is 3-8 on the year with a 5.72 ERA. Now, obviously, it's hard to take Manoah's stats at face value because we know he was having a terrible time of it early in the season. He got sent off to play with the under-17s and come back. And I'm pleased to say he's been really good because it's hard to watch anyone kind of struggling to that extent, especially if they're not like your nearest rivals or someone that you really dislike. And Manoah seems quite a reasonable guy to root for. He's looked a lot better lately. Not faultless by any chance, by any stretch, but the walks are coming down. I think there's a little pattern of his walks have gone 5-4-3-2. Or 4-3-2-1 maybe in his last 4 games. Toronto have won his last 3. And Toronto were going well. Were going really well until they were shut out last night. Syndergaard, at this point, he's just eating innings, I think, for Cleveland. Cleveland have given up. We've said that repeatedly since the deadline. He's 1-5 on the year with a 6.75 ERA. And they're just going to send him out every 5 days to pitch 5 or 6 innings and see what happens. Cleveland eventually won a game last night, but did it in true Cleveland style, 1-0. So I have to take Toronto here. I mean, Syndergaard's given up 5 earned runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's been at Cleveland long enough to lose both of those games. Toronto are the better team at the minute, and Manoah's the better pitcher. I think this is a great price. This is lock material, Dylan, -120.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. What a pitching matchup. But I agree. Let's cross our fingers. I'm going to back Manoah and the Blue Jays here. My numbers did make them a -135 favorite. You're right. The Blue Jays are just a better team right now. I know they lost 1-0 the other night, but I'm just having a hard time backing the Guardians and Syndergaard at this point. 3-7 in their last 10. And the 2 starts Syndergaard has had with the Guardians, he's 0-2. So he's a fade on my list until further notice. And since Manoah's come back, you mentioned it, Blue Jays, they won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's looked better. And you're right. In the beginning, he was profitable fading, but it just sucks seeing him that bad because we've seen how good he can be last season. So I think he's kind of got his confidence back a little bit, but give me the better pitcher and the better team right now at this short price. I agree. I'll take the Blue Jays here.
1:10 Eastern first pitch is the Minnesota Twins at the Detroit Tigers. Kenta Maeda goes for Minnesota, and it is Reese Olson, the pitcher for the Tigers. -132 Minnesota, +110. For the Tigers. Total is set at 9, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm seeing some 8.5s out there popping up, so get it while you can. This is a total for me. I'm going to go under 9. You could get it. It's a little chalky at -120, but I made my total 8.1. Kenta Maeda, since coming back, he's only allowed 3 runs 1 time in 4 of his starts on the road, and all 4 of those games have gone under the number. So we saw Kenta Maeda pitch in Detroit earlier in the season. He went 5 strong innings. He didn't allow a single run. Walks can be an issue for him, so maybe you want to look towards a walk prop if it's around 1.5. But, I really don't expect a high-scoring game here. Tigers are kind of struggling right now. Both teams aren't really known for their hitting. Both are kind of in the bottom half of the league in regards to their batting average. So I think we see a low-scoring game, maybe a 4-1, 4-2 type of game. But Kenta Maeda has been really good since coming back, so I think he'll be able to limit the Tigers. I'll go under 9.
Yeah, my lock-up for the games last night was the under in whoever was pitching in this. I said I'm going to wake up and see whichever team won 4-3. Didn't pan out like that. Actually, Detroit won 6-0. It was Sonny Gray and Eduardo Rodriguez, but 6 runs was still the answer. And I don't know why this would be any different at all. The problem is maybe Olsen gives up a few more. Olsen isn't Eduardo Rodriguez. No. He's given up 4, 4, and 5 in his last 3. But 9's still a big number if we're expecting Minnesota to get the majority of these by themselves. Maeda has been absolutely excellently lately. And it would take something really unusual when these two teams are playing each other for me not to go under a total of 9. I think if they play 10 games, 7 of them are going to come under that total. So 7 out of 10 times, it works every time, Dylan. Easy.
4 in a row, and we're locked step so far. Not good.
Oh, mate. Do you think we start to see other people, mate?
Yeah, I think so. By the way, I won't be here Sunday. We can't talk about Newcastle winning and Forest winning, upsetting Arsenal. But I'm going to Sunday Night Baseball. I got tickets.
Oh, was this your birthday treat?
No, that's at the end of August. We're playing the Rangers, but my buddy's never been to a baseball game, and he's a Braves fan, and the Braves are playing the Mets at Citi Field, so we got tickets. Great seats, too, so.
Fantastic. I'm jealous. That'll be fun. I'll be at Newcastle Villa on Saturday, so I'm going to get my live fix on Saturday afternoon. 6:40 Eastern first pitch is the St. Louis Cardinals at the Tampa Bay Rays. Matthew Liberatore, left-handed pitcher for the Cards, and it is Zach Littell for the Tampa Bay Rays. Plus 158, the Cardinals. Minus 170, the Rays. Total 9, Dylan.
Yeah, I pronounce it Littell, but I mean, I'm no aficionado on pronunciation, so don't take anything from me. But as for the game, I'm gonna take the Rays here to keep it rolling against the Cardinals. They didn't want to touch the money line, a little chalky, but on the run line, I got a plus 134. I thought that was great value. Any kind of plus money, I think, is a good bet, in my opinion, if you want to take the Rays on the run line. Cardinals, they're just another team that's on my fade list. 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 4 of their last 5. And we know Rays are a wagon at home. 38-19 straight up, while Cardinals, they struggle on the road, 24-32. And just look at Matthew Liberatore road splits, 11.48 ERA. Batters are hitting over 350 off of him, and his hard hit rate is anywhere from 45 to 50 on the road. I think this is an awful spot for him. I think the Rays are going to blow the Cardinals out. So give me the Rays minus 1.5 at whatever plus price you could get.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on Liberatore to show me something. I don't want to give up on him. I like him. I said that last time, and he was awful. 2 home runs actually cost him. But that's not much consolation if you can't keep it in the park. I'm still hopeful there's better days ahead for Liberatore. Littell, he's got a couple of starts and been okay. Tampa Bay have won both of those. If this was anybody else, you'd kind of be looking to fade them. Littell, not a household name. Tampa Bay scuffling a little bit. But it's the Cardinals, and they're so untrustworthy, so out of form. I actually took the Tampa Bay team total here rather than the run line. So same cat, but we've skinned it in a different way, Dylan. Total will be what, 4.5 maybe? Do you think here 4?
I'm looking right now, and the first one I saw was at Caesars. It's at 5 at plus money. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll sniff around the 4.5, 5, and hopefully Tampa Bay can get us there off.
But that just shows you how bad Liberatore is.
I don't think he's bad, Dylan. He's coming good. We're gonna cash some nice some plus money tickets on Liberatore between now and the end of the season. I guarantee you that. I'm going to tell you about Parlay Play before we get into the last 3 games. Parlay Play is a great way to get down on your favourite parlay player props. Football season is right around the corner, and Parlay Play is available in California, Texas. It's available in lots of Canadian provinces. If you sign up with our code, you'll get a sweet bonus to get started. Parlay play we like here is Kansas City at plus 235. Parlayed with Pittsburgh at plus 185. That'll make you rich. Get across to Parlay play and get involved. Use the promo code SGP for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That is at parlayplay.io. Promo code SGP. 6:40 Eastern first pitch is the Washington Nationals and the Philadelphia Phillies. Left-handed pitcher Patrick Corbin is on the bump for Washington. Drawing the start for Philadelphia is Aaron Nola. It's another big split. Washington plus 240, Philly minus 270. Total is set at 9. Patrick Corbin, 7-11, 5.03 ERA. He had a little good spell back there, but that's disappearing in the rearview mirror. It's a distant memory, is Corbin's little purple patch. His latest problem are home runs. He's given up 5 in his last 2 starts. And Philly can hit a home run. They've got players who can do that. You might get a Schwarber or Bryce Harper could go yard. JT, Real Muto. They're not short of their home run hitters there. Aaron Nola is 9-8 on the year with a 4.58 ERA. He's given up 5 earned runs in his last 2 starts. He's 5.64 ERA in his last 5. The last 3 game totals that Nola and Philly have been involved in, they've come to 12, 13, and 13. And this looks like quite a good comp game for me. Philly hit the lefties okay, so that doesn't worry me unduly. 9 looks way too low. I watched Philly v Kansas City a lot at the back end of last week. They were all finishing 8-6, 8-4, shit like that. Similar here. 9 is way too low, Dylan.
Yeah, and you got winds blowing out into right field as well. Yeah, ugly game. I was going to take the over with you, but getting plus 240 with the dog, I only made the Phillies a minus 210 favorite. Nationals are actually playing decent ball, 7-3 in their last 10. They just beat the Phillies last night as a huge underdog. I know we like to fade, and the narrative is like we like to fade Corbin Burns, but he hasn't been terrible on the road. The Nationals have actually won 3 of his last 4 starts on the road, and Nola hasn't looked good in his last 2 starts, giving up 5 runs to the Royals and the Pirates, and the Phillies lost both of those games. So on a pure number and value standpoint, I gotta take the Nationals here on the road. Plus 240, my dog.
Like that, Dylan. The courage of your convictions, get involved. 7:10 Eastern first pitch is the penultimate game on the show tonight between the Kansas City Royals and the Boston Red Sox. Alec Marsh is the starter for KC, and it is left-handed pitcher James Paxton for the Boston Red Sox. Plus 235 Kansas City, minus 270 Boston. Total is 10.5, Dylan. Big one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a total here. I'm going to go under 10.5 at minus 104. I made my total 9.7. I know Alec Marsh isn't good at all, especially on the road, but he has been a little better this season, I thought, especially on the road. If you look under the hood, his hard hit rate isn't even that high. I just think he personally gets himself into trouble with the walks, and then he could give up a home run or 2, and then the numbers really get inflated. But his hard hit rate hovers around 25 to 30%, and it really isn't that bad. And I also like the unders because of how good James Paxton has been at home this season. He had a rough outing in his last start against the Blue Jays, but outside of that game, he hasn't allowed more than 2 runs at home all year. So I actually think we could see a pitching duel, especially in the first 5. So I think the Red Sox win big here, but 10.5 seems extremely too high. So I'm going to go under 10.5.
I don't know if you just saw the light briefly come on here. A small boy just sneaked into the kitchen here, Dylan. Opened the cupboard over
Making
there.
some chicken?
Not making chicken this time, no, but sneaked out with what looked like a packet of biscuits or something, when he very definitely should be in bed. But what can I do? I'm sitting here talking to you. He knows there's no consequences to his actions. So he sneaked off. We're not in lockstock in this one. I've gone the other way. I've gone over. It is a big number, though. It's a bit of a worry. Alec Marsh, I faded last time and was correct too. He's quite looks okay. Like, he sort of passes the eye test, and then they score loads of runs off him, which doesn't really equate. Too much hard contact and home runs, unfortunately. Now, Paxton was hit by the Blue Jays last time, but he's actually been holding the bad teams in check before that. He had a run against the less glamorous opposition that he was doing okay. However, KC are scoring runs as of late. Like I say, I've been watching them. I've picked them the last couple of nights. They scored some runs. They were competitive at Philly at the weekend. And they hit lefties okay as well. So I think we could see something, I don't know, another 8-4. They kept losing 8-4 to Philly. They can lose 8-4 to Boston. So I'll take the over 10.5. And finally, we go to the biggest favourite of the card. It is a 10-10 Cowboy time Eastern first pitch between the Colorado Rockies and the LA Dodgers. Left-handed pitcher Ty Black, Black with a CH, goes for the Rockies. And the Dodgers are officially TBD, but Clayton Kershaw, we think it is. And certainly the bookies do, because they have the Dodgers up at minus 345. Black and the Rockies are at plus 275. Total is 8.5. Ty Black, 1-1, 4.85 ERA. A long reliever, generally, or kind of a multi-inning opener. Not a traditional, not a one-inning guy. You might get 2 or 3 out of him. And actually, he's been all right. He's only been in this role kind of a month or so. I think this might be his 5th sort of turn through. His game totals, or the game totals involving Black, have been 8-2, 5 and 6. Kershaw, we don't really have to go into. He's been absolutely amazing. He's 10-4 with a 2.55 ERA. I think his ERA is lower than that in his last 5 starts. The combination of Black not being terrible in holding the Dodgers and Kershaw not giving up a run at all, which means LA are going to have to score all of these. I like the under. Dodgers will win this 6 or 7-0, Dylan. Under 8.5 for me.
Wow, we ended on separate terms. I'm gonna go over here, over 8.5. I made my total 8.9. You know, the Dodgers, they've gone over this number in 5 straight games, while the Rockies, they've gone over their total in 3 of their last 5. And Mal, you know, we like to fade pitchers making their return, and that's what I'm really going to do here with Kershaw. You know, now before his injury, like you mentioned, he was spectacular, especially at home. But I do think the way the Rockies have been swinging the bat, I do think they'll be able to score a few runs off of him, especially that bullpen when he does come in. And the way the Dodgers have been swinging the bat, they might get over this total themselves. They're averaging 8 runs per game this past week. So all we need is 2 to 3 runs from the Rockies. I think that's manageable. So I think it'll be a muster of runs in this game. So I'm actually going to go on the over here.
Okay, fair enough. We can land on opposite sides. So there we go. Cheeky little half an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 8 games in the hutch. Tricky to pick locks and dogs here, like you see, with the 4 really short price favourites, the minus $2 and upwards favourites. But did you find us a lock and dog, Dylan?
Yeah, I'll start with my dog. It's going to be the Rays at home on the run line. I see plus 120, plus 125s out there. I think that's great value here against fading a really struggling Cardinals team on the road. Like I said, Rays are a wagon at home, 38-14, while I'm not as high as Malcolm on Matthew Liberatore. I just think he's going to get blasted tomorrow. So I'm going to take the Rays at home on the run line. And then for my lock, I was either going to take the under on the Twins and Tigers. I do like the 9 if you could still get a 9. But I'm gonna back Alex Manoah here on the road and take the Blue Jays on the money line. I think this is a good spot for them. Guardians are still on my fade list, especially with Syndergaard. They've lost both of his games. He just doesn't have it this year. So I'm going to continue to fade him, and Blue Jays are just a better team, so I'm not going to overthink this one. Blue Jays are going to bounce back after losing 1-0 last night. Blue Jays on the money line, minus 120 as my lock, and Rays minus 1.5 as my dog.
Right, okay. I'm going to roll.
Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because there's a bit of a contradiction coming up here. My lock is going to be the same as your lock, Dylan. We've only got 8 games. Often I'll go last, and I kind of have to call an audible on myself because I don't want to give out the same locks as other people. We've only got 8 games here, and like I say, 4 of them are kind of unbackable. So I'm I'm going to double up. So I want the Blue Jays at -120. However, my dog completely contradicts your other pick, because I'm going to take St. Louis at +158 because there's an ignorance of alternatives here. I can't really give out Colorado. I had them written down at one point. I've given up on them. Kansas City, I can't. 3 nights running, I can't give out. Alec Marsh. I know Moonaf's a big fan of Alec Marsh. He thinks he's really good. But I can't give out Kansas City. I don't want anything to do with Pittsburgh. And that leaves
Nationals?
Yeah, you made a really good case for the Nationals. But in fact, you making that case for Washington kind of swung me towards my Liberatore bet, because I said to you at the time, you've got the courage of your convictions. And I really need to do that, because I think Liberatore's okay. I think Liberatore, I said, will cash some tickets before the end of the year. So having said that, looking around for a dog, yeah, I'm going to take him in this spot. He's +158 for a reason, but we cashed a bigger one last night. So yeah, let's do that.
Putting your money where your mouth is. I love it.
Correct, Dylan. You've got it. Need some beer money for the weekend is what we need. Plenty beer money. Dylan, thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to tell the people about before you can go get out your polo shirt?
No, I'm actually going to dinner. Another reason why. Grandma, 93rd birthday today. So I want to celebrate her birthday. Yeah. So going to do that. And then, just go check out the Premier League podcast. Loads of winners there. So going to go. I can't wait. I'm going to get up real early Saturday, get my coffee. Yeah, I'm pumped.
You know, Forest are the early game on Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I set my alarm already. It's at 7:30 a.m. I'll be up.
Okay.
Come on.
Play to you, mate. What's Grandma's name?
Her name's Mary. She's from the South.
Mary.
She's from the South. She always talks with that Southern drawl.
Oh, nice. My mum's a Mary.
Oh,
Mrs.
nice.
Bamford is a Mary, and my grandma. They're all Marys. Fantastic. Excellent. We got another minute out of that. Moonaf will be delighted. Thanks, everyone who joined us in the chat. Randy and Trev and Mark was first in. Appreciate that. Someone will be back tomorrow, not me. I've got to go and turn the cogs of industry tomorrow. But one of the gang will be back. Good luck with all your bets. I'm going to go and watch an hour's baseball before I go to bed. And we will see you down the road. Cheers.